there's also issues here of not just the safety of the sampling crew, because when the auger goes into the ground, it's going to pull up material, and there is potentially the release of uncontrolled amounts of hydrogen sulfide gas from the material, because it's capped right now. It's all being held in. Once you punch a hole in it, it's going to escape. Gas goes where it can go. So, as I understand it, from the department's technical people, sampling crews on those sites would have to have supply air in order to do their sampling. And potentially, the operator of the drill equipment would also have to have, in fact, they do have supply air, depends on whether or not, I don't know if they're using it today or not. But that will also slow the process down, because supply air only lasts a certain amount of time, then it has to be replenished. So if you have a sampling crew at one site, when they're sampling, particularly if they're sampling at different depths, you can judge, I'm not an engineer about this is just my understanding of how it would work. And a person in the sampling crew runs out of supplied air and has to get supplied air, that might delay the further drilling of that well until such time as another supplied air comes. Or in fact, will be disruptive of the actions on the site, because you're going to have these stops and starts depending on the depth that you're going to, depending on the length of time the supply air lasts. And because, and again, one of the department's concerns here, again, about sampling this material, is because you would have these releases of hydrogen sulfide gas potentially that could impact the people who are doing the sampling on the line to avoid that. The other thing I would say, Judge, I think I made this point before, but I'd like to reiterate it. It doesn't matter if constituents are found that Roxbury wishes to sample for that are not related to the generation of hydrogen sulfide gas. The remedy the department is putting in place will address those. So all the information from the cuttings is going to do is provide information. It's not going to affect the remedy. Roxbury says it doesn't want to affect that remedy. So the point of getting these cuttings is kind of lost on the department, because all it does is, sure, maybe you know that there's PCBs, there's metals in certain parts of the landfill. That doesn't lend itself to then going to that one place and cutting all of that stuff out and moving it off of the site, because that's an impractical result. The result that the department is putting into place is the practical result. And I don't think, and candidly, having read through the papers very quickly in anticipation of today, I can't say the chapter and verse what their engineer said, but I don't think that Roxbury's engineers would advocate for digging up the landfill and moving things off the site. But he's picking out quote-unquote hotspots, because the gypsum is spread out all through the landfill. And the department's design, which obviously we haven't submitted, but I can submit with our responsive papers, is basically goes all the way around the landfill and has wells that run laterally and horizontally and through depth, so that there are there are going to be actually 30 wells eventually when it's all done, yes, that are extracting the air and the moisture and the gas from the landfill. And by doing that, that's the effective remedy, regardless of what might be in there. And so getting this information doesn't change the remedy. Mr. Grouse has suggested that, well, it might change the remedy, but it won't change the remedy, as I understand it, because these wells have to be put in place, the moisture has to be taken out, because the acute issue here was hydrogen sulfide gas emissions. That was what the department has been dealing with for at least the last 7 or 8 months, and frankly longer than that, since November of 2012 when the first complaints started to come in. That's what drove this response. And as I said, Judge, the emergency order is specific to that. It doesn't go beyond that. It's to deal with that particular issue. And because they don't have a well-settled legal right to an injunction here, and because they're not going to be harmed in the sense that not having this information isn't going to change the remedy. Slowing the process down is actually what's going to do the harm. And I know that Mr. Grouse said they don't want to slow the process down, but it's a logistical issue that need to be dealt with. And we're enjoined from drilling today until such time as there's agreement on.
They don't want that. I think maybe what you're talking about is what, or perhaps you're referring to the question of
balance of the equities, Judge, require, I would argue, for the department being allowed to move forward with its remedial plan without interference.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Judge.
Final brief word, Mr. Crowder.
Absolutely. I'd just like to raise, address some of the questions that were raised and maybe not the elements of trouble generally. But before that, a couple of answers to some of the questions or concerns raised by the department. The townships or consultants are willing to follow whatever site safety plan that's in existence. The drill rig operator who's out there now, the DEP staff who's out there right now, they have a site safety plan. We're happy to follow that plan and to incorporate ourselves into that plan. Also, additionally, and along those lines, the consultants are happy to wear whatever personal protective equipment, PPE, that's required by the personnel of the DEP. If they're going to go out there and they're going to sample the soils, they'll wear the containerized air and they'll take the samples with that containerized air. The drill rig operator who's out there, Mr. Kennedy, you can see it is wearing contained air, and consultants will go out there and do the same thing. Now, there was a concern raised about possible exposure to the sample out at the site. The exposure would come not from the sample, not from scooping some grains of material into the lyle. It would come from sticking the drill rig down in the ground and pulling the soils up. So if there's an exposure issue right now, that exposure issue exists for the department's personnel, and they're addressing